The other guy that has stood out, I'm glad to hear that as a guy that is often spoken about in terms of not really ever getting the unanimous praise, that there's always some, one to kind of pick or poke or prod or pull at the edges a little bit on the game, that Geno Smith is getting unanimously praised kind of from every item here into camp. And I think that is, number one, great to see because I think Geno deserves the credit, but also just on the other aspect of it, when it becomes this clear and so many people are seeing it and noting it this much, that's not people jumping on the Geno bandwagon. There's a lot of people in there that might be saying this right now to you that have not necessarily been the most pro-Geno people, and it's because what they're seeing in practice is legitimate. You're watching a guy do a variety of things at a really high level in his details, in how quick he's out with the ball, how accurate he is, where he's placing the ball in his accuracy. There's a route that these guys were running with just it's a real simulated drill they were running, 2-man routes at the start of practice, and the 2-man routes would kind of set out and they'd space it, and they were just timing with the quarterback, and there were no other defenders or anything else. It was quarterback, 2 receivers, the running back, and usually the slot. And they would have the running back on one of the drills, cut out to the edge and running it kind of like an out route. And you'd see just a little thing, even the difference of that, where Geno puts the ball out there in front and lets him go and get to the ball, versus the other 2 quarterbacks who would just put it on the guy to make sure that they were completing the pass. But the way Geno throws it on that kind of throw doesn't give the defender a chance to actually come back in and make the play on that. His throwing with anticipation. I was down on the berm low side on one throw to Bobo, where Bobo's coming up and he's looking like he's going to run it as a 9. It's looking like a streak all the way. And Bobo's still running the streak. And so just imagine this is Bobo running the straight streak, right? And Geno's throwing it. Geno's throwing it. And then he breaks out on the out route. Not he's breaking out soon as Geno's throwing it. Not he's broken out, then Geno throws it. He's still going up the field and then getting to his outbreak. Geno's throwing it here on still the streak part of the route. Pinpoint spot to where he needed to put the ball with where Bobo was running the route and understood where he needed to be in running the route. Because Bobo looks around, ball's right there. And the whole crowd's going, oh, and I got the perfect angle where they were coming right at me from my angle on the berm. And so you had Bobo right here and Geno throws it. And I'm like, Bobo hasn't even gotten to the break yet. How's that going to, great completion. And you saw those kind of plays from Geno time and time again on some of the throws, the anticipation, hitting the middle of the field routes, putting in the right spot. I didn't see him intercepted on either of the 2 days that I was there, or really even in that close to it coming down to happening at all. And maybe you could go to like the red zone drills, because they were doing some stuff down where they were doing fade route drills down to the side, and they kept running it where they wanted to throw the fade to the right, and they kept bang, 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 play after play, so that the corners also knew they're running the fades down there. And so there was a little bit of you up the degree of difficulty on the corner. Because then or on the receiver, because there's no 2-way route to play or anything there. You're just kind of having to play the fade, and that's all you got to lock in on. So it was very hard for them to make those kind of completions, but or even allow the defender to kind of come in there and get kind of close for the quarterback at times on making a play in there. But I think there was a purposeful reason why they did that on that side of it. But Geno, the receivers looked outstanding. They stood out to me as far as where they're at. Geno, in my prediction a couple months ago, and saying I think this guy's going to be a 100-yard guy, a 35 touchdown guy, a guy that puts that season out that people would sort of proclaim to you that he was unable to put together, is going to put that together, would seem like where he's at right now and where the team's at and the scheme that he's going to be able to bring. As I had kind of hoped, it really does seem like this spread system is going to fit to what he does really, really well and accentuate it in a really nice way. And he's taken to it, it looks like, at least in my eyes, and what we've heard from camp and a multitude of people I've heard. I think I've yet to hear a real bad report on Geno through the first few days of camp. And again, this is for a guy that tends to get, at the very least, a little bit nitpicked at times in his game.